Rabbits have a need to eat a lot of hay, and they need to eat timothy hay. They need to have maybe 60 to 70% of their diet is timothy hay, and it's a lower protein, lower calcium hay. That's why we like that instead of alfalfa. So if we just give a lot of hay to them every day, we like to give a nice big pile, maybe the size of their body in the morning, and then maybe some more throughout the day and a lot at night as well. Just keep them eating and eating and eating so that they can keep moving things through their system. Rabbits are not able to throw up. It's a very unusual thing about them. So nobody likes to get sick. However, if you take something into your body that is poisonous or is somehow not good for you, it's protective for you to be able to throw up and get rid of it. Poor bunnies are not able to do that. So that if they eat something that's bad for them, the only way to get it out of their body is for them to pass it all the way through, or worse, to have a vet surgically take it out. And we really don't want that to happen. So because bunnies are constantly grooming themselves, they're always licking and licking and licking and grooming themselves and cleaning their feet. They're very clean animals. They take a lot of fur in. So they've got all this fur going through their system. More fur and more fur and more fur. So again, we have to give them hay so that that hay keeps everything moving through their system. So hay is the #1 thing that they need, and they need to have a lot of it. You know, some people are allergic to hay, and so they end up having to get rid of their rabbits because they're not able to have hay in the house because it makes them sneeze all the time. The next thing that they need a lot of, and every day if they can get it, is greens. Greens are just what it sounds like. It's greens. When you go to the grocery store and you see collard greens and red leaf lettuce and kale and parsley and basil and dandelion, oh my goodness, do rabbits love dandelion. That is what they need to be eating. They do not need to be eating carrots. Everyone thinks that carrots are so good for bunnies, and really what carrots are full of, sugar. Carrots are very, very high in sugar. I never give carrots to my rabbits. Some people will give small amounts of carrots to their rabbits, but I choose to err on the side of caution. So they have hay and they have greens. They can also have a small amount of pellets every day. You know, sometimes people just give the rabbits a bowl and they just dump the pellets in there and they don't measure it out, and then their rabbits get overweight. And once the rabbits get overweight, they have all kinds of health problems. So what we want is a 5-pound rabbit to have a 1/4 cup of pellets a day total, no more than that. They'll eat 5 times that amount because they like pellets, but Bradley's about 4 pounds, so he gets just a tiny bit of pellets every day, and he loves them. The kind of pellets that we recommend in the Pittsburgh House Rabbit Club are plain timothy hay-based pellets. You know, you go to the pet store and you see these gourmet blend pellets. I call it Lucky Charms. Who knows Lucky Charms cereal? Well, it's Lucky Charms for rabbits, and it's very, very bad for them. You have a bag of pellets, and what else is in there? You see sunflower seeds and pieces of corn, and you see these little orange shapes and these little yellow shapes. Bunnies don't need any of that, and it's actually really bad for them. What they need is plain pellets. It doesn't look very appealing to us, but to them it's fine, and they need to be made out of timothy hay, and they need only a little bit of that per day. And then they also need some fruit. Tiny little amounts. I might give him 1 teaspoon of fruit a day, and that's it. Some people might, you know, cut a big piece of apple and give it to them. That's like us eating half of a birthday cake, and we don't need that much. They have a very efficient digestive system. They can live in the wilds of Europe in times where the vegetation is all dried up and survive on that because their system is so efficient. They take the food in, and they're sort of like cows. You know, cows eat, and then they digest some of their food, and then they throw it up again, and they keep chewing, and they have it go down again, and then it comes back up again. There's a lot of fur flying. Bunnies are not able to vomit it back up again, but they do something very interesting. They have a big organ in their body called a cecum. They take the food into their body, and the big pieces go right through and pass out the other end. Smaller pieces go into the cecum. And there's bacteria in there that break all the food down. And the bacteria does a really good job of that, pushes it through. They make something called cecotropes that they actually eat from their rear end. So you might think, what is my rabbit doing? It's actually eating food. It's not eating its own waste. And they chew it, and they digest that, and that's full of a bunch of vitamins. And it's very important for them to eat that every day. They eat that twice a day. Well, if you give them the wrong foods, if you give them carrots too much, if you give them treats like yogurt drops, A lot of people give yogurt drops to their bunnies. Yogurt drops are sugar and milk. Bradley does not need sugar or milk. He does not need that. In fact, it would probably make him sick. Because once that goes into his body and the cecum bacteria go, oh boy, I've got some milk and I've got some sugar, I better blast a whole bunch of bacteria at that. All of a sudden, that whole cycle of him producing those cecotropes and having to re-ingest it gets messed up. And he starts having what we call mushy poops. And then they stick to his fur. I mean, it's just an awful thing. And then often you can find him hunched over in gas pain because his whole system gets bloated and full of gas, and then he won't want to eat at all, and then we have to take him to the vet, and that's scary for everybody. So that's how they eat. It's a really efficient system, especially for bunnies living out in the wild. And so even though he's living in suburbia now and he doesn't have to be that efficient, his body doesn't know any better.